reflections on this weekend's training. Where do I start? Introduction to it all is this: that yesterday we do a ride from Chermside up to Mooloolaba via Mount Mee, then via Maleny, Montville, Mapleton, Nambour, Bly, Maroochydore, and back into Mooloolaba. And then today we return basically back through Caloundra, across to Landsborough, down through Beerburrum, Caboolture, Petrie, and then back in through Strathpine and back to Chermside again. So yesterday started off 5 o'clock. Still dark, as it normally is. Surprise, surprise. And we start off, 13 of us, off on the ride. We knew it was a long day ahead, had everything organised. I went with the aero bottle and 3 other bottles on board, and it's going to be a long day. So the nutrition side of things, had the bento box with full of all the nutritional things, gels, energy bars, and again there's an experimentation with the energy bars between the Power Bar energy bar and the Enduro energy bar. I think at this stage, I've ordered some of the Enduro energy bars. I'll go with them, but again, I've got a couple of weeks to still test that theory out. So the ride out to Mount Mee by Dayborough, Petrie Dayborough, it was good. I mean, it's relatively flat that out to there. We kept a good pace. Probably wasn't a lot of chatter. Probably I think we're mostly all trying to still wake up. Did our climb up to the top of Mount Mee. Again, felt really good. Did Mount Mee on Wednesday as well, so becoming a bit familiar with the road up there. Worked really well, trying to keep constant cadence, consistent cadence. Watch the heart rate. Really work, the circles in the pedal stroke. Those sorts. I get a little bit stagnated in the pedal stroke, where really push the down stroke and forget about oh well, I can actually use the upstroke to my advantage as well. Did Mount Mee, and then we went across from Mount Mee and then down the other side, and that was fairly undulating. Down to Diagula, and we had a drink stop or a support vehicle at the top of Mount Mee and also at Diagula. Those 2 stops probably a bit longer than what I probably would have liked, just mucking around. And then we were off towards Maleny. Now, I have to confess here that I probably needed to read the map, or even take my own map with me to make sure I went the right way, because by Mount Mee down through Diagula there, the hills, not my favourite, were getting the better of me. However, I was sticking with it. My mind was still in the game. The body was still in the game, so I was sticking with it. However, I was dropping off the pack of Jared and Rich and Paul, and then would obviously catch them up in the downhill and the flats. But it was a stage there where I did lose them, and I saw a sign going to Maleny, so I decided, well, we're going to Maleny, I'll take that way. Now, a few months ago we did a ride up the Sunshine Coast at the Mooloolaba camp, where we went out with the Sunshine Coast guys, and we went up this hill that was fairly steep, to the point where they actually don't put the percentage of the incline, and it's only 900 metres, but it's all 900 metres of just grinding it out. I think at one stage I was doing about 5k an hour. We got there. and it was satisfying to get to the top. And we were able to ride through the top and just keep going across the top of the Mullaney-Montville range to meet up just at the turn off of Mary Cairncross Park. Obviously it was probably a little bit shorter, however to make out a few more Ks I rode back to the rest of the group coming up from Landsborough. I think I added another 4 to 6 K on there. And then again, probably a bit too much of a long stop there. Should have just got my stuff, got organised, go. Then across the top. Now by this stage I think we're up to about 4.5 to 5 hours. Now to say that the game was just about over was probably a bit too harsh, but the mind certainly was wandering off the task and the body didn't want to participate at all. And if I had to look at another hill, which I did quite a number of times going across the top of Mullaney, Montville, Mapleton, I just had it, From the 5 hour mark I just felt that I had nothing left in the legs. The legs were just, they were screaming going up some of these hills. And I mean, it's not just undulating hills, there are 12 and 11% and 10% hills across the top, and I'm not too sure how long it is, but I just struggled. I had nothing left across the top there, mentally and physically. It shattered me. I was a shattered man. It was a tough ride. By that stage I kind of bit all over the place with the nutrition. So, from 5 to 6 hours it was just a huge mental game to try and get through. Some real fisticuff arguments between me and the voice. But anyway, we persisted, and there were times I was just spinning along. There was not a real lot of effort in the pedal stroke and pushing across the top of the mountain there. I was just in a world of my own. We got down to the bottom into Nambour, and again, things weren't happening. The road from Nambour through to Bly wasn't too bad. There was a few hills again. We just dug deep to get through those. It wasn't pretty at all. Not pretty to watch at all. Ulbar, I think the ride time was roughly 6.5 to 6 hours 45, somewhere around that. I'd done about 177k. I got there. That's all I'll say. I got there. Probably, as I said, probably one of the toughest rides I've ever done. Didn't do anything like that in the last Ironman campaign. I think it was character building. I think I learnt a lot from it. Learned, you got to focus. You got to focus on what you're doing in terms of nutrition, because if you start to lose track of when you're going to take what and things like that, it can get messy. And I think it did get messy, but we got through it. In terms of recovery, that afternoon, that night, we had a bit of a swim in the surf, Ulbar Beach that afternoon. That was more of just a bit of a frolic out, a bit of a tread water, a bit of water running, that sort of stuff, out in the water. I think that was beneficial. I think it's good just to, use the natural therapeutic value of the ocean, the salt water, those sorts of things. So I think that was worthwhile.